Hello, and welcome to the Hermit Lab. Today we're back in the alphabet series on the letter F. F is for Forearm Fun. I was also playing around with formatting, so I have a little bit of a different format for you today. Lots of drills and entries and different ways to do it. And just, wow, there she is. What an entrance. So like I was saying, all about the forearms, different ways to get into it, just basically everything I could think of. Hi, Marge. All right, so we're going to get started with some warm-ups and stretches. So I have a strap here. I'm going to do my shoulder flossing. It's really just a belt. I'm going to find my width to go arms up and back behind me and up and overhead. I'm going to do 5 here. Start to find some breath with it. Lift the shoulders as you pass them because that is going to be helpful when it comes to inversions, elevating the shoulders. Then we're going to make it a little bit too small, and then I get stuck. When you get sticky here, you can take it over to one side, open up the front of the chest, over to the other side. And then sneak it wide enough to pass it all the way back and up and overhead one more time. Good. All right, and we are done with that. Goodbye. All right, let's do some shoulder circles. I'm going to go right arm back 10 times. And you're not glued to the floor here, right? So if you want to take a little walk, free up your feet, we'll go forward. Again, finding that momentum at the very bottom. And change other side, left arm back 10 times. And forward. Giving into the momentum at the drop at the bottom. Yes. All right, this is from circus school. 2 arms, we go 2 up, 2 to the side, and 2 to the back. Again, hup, hup, slice, slice, push it back and back. Again, hup, hup, and back, back, and down, down. Again, hup, overhead, 2 to the side, 2 behind you. Last time, to the side, right behind you, and stick it and salute it. That was for you, Nini. Love you. All right, now let's get down to our mat and continue on with our stretching, starting with puppy pose. Face down, ass up, call it what it is. I like to hold on to the edges of my mat. My toes are kissing. For the most, you'll have the chin to the ground. For a little bit less, take forehead down. If you're comfortable here, try tucking the toes and straightening the legs, sending the butt way high. And then we'll back out of this enough so that we can get our elbows down to the ground, palms press. And this one we will do with our forehead down, starting to get that sensation of taking the arms overhead with bent arms. That's essentially what a forearm stand is. Come on up to tabletop, tuck the toes, find a downward facing dog, pedal it out and get all those first little kinks working out. And then we're going to make this about the shoulders. So I'm going to step my feet mats width distance, take a really short down dog, bend the knees a lot. I'm trying to get the head to the floor. Less about the hamstrings, more about the back and the shoulders. And then I'll readjust myself back to a normal down dog. Now, leg flexibility is going to be important when it comes to inversions. Right leg rises, bend and open, get that side body stretch, twisting if it feels good. And step forward, we're starting with low lunge. There's only so much muscling up into an inversion that we can do. It's really helpful to have open hips and hamstrings to help stack us up there easily. You can hang out here or take hands up to the knee, keep sinking low into the hips. Arms high overhead, and we'll take that side stretch over to the right. My fingertips are down to the ground. And then continue this circle into a fold over the front leg, little halfway lift. And here we are in full splits. The more open my hamstrings and hips are, the easier it will be to stack hips over shoulders. And the easier some of these entries are going to be too. If you've got full splits, go ahead and find it. And we'll start first by trying to keep the hips square and taking arms up overhead. Now imagine this upside down. And once we've had enough of that, we can take a little fold over the front leg. And rewind it. Foot goes all the way back up behind you. Bend and open just one more time. And back to downward facing dog. We'll take this on the other side. Left leg lifts, bend and open, as cracked out as you want it to be. All the way up behind you, step forward, low lunge. So as a gymnast, I was like a righty. That was my dominant side. Everything I did was on the right. All the cartwheels, all the round-offs, all the front handsprings. So when I got to yoga, I was like, oh, I have to do everything on both sides. So it's funny to me, come on up, hands to your knee, when people are like, oh, I don't have a good side or a bad side. And I'm just like, oh yeah, because you're not really supposed to. Lean over to the left, get that side stretch. And circle your way forward. So we practice going up and coming down. If we do something on one side, we do it on the other side, so they're both of equal importance. We want to, it's all about balance, right? We want to try to be nice and even. So if you've got your full split, go ahead and slide on into it. Bit of a struggle for me to try to get those hips square. If you're comfortable down here, arms up overhead, maybe find that steeple grip and suck it all the way up. Shoulders up to the ears in inversions is a good thing. So lose that yoga cue of shoulders down the back. It's not going to be helpful here when we go upside down. Fold over the front leg. And come on up. Again, try to rewind without dragging onto your mat too much. Give it a lift and a wrap. Downward facing dog. And we'll come to a seat. I'm going to turn to face you. We'll start with Paschimottanasana, or in the acrobatic world, a pike stretch. Arms up overhead, forward fold over two legs. I'm going to start with pointed feet here. Gotta be sure to crack all the toes. Trying to find a long spine rather than a rounded spine. Stretching through the feet or flexing them. Lift up a little bit and go to a little baby V and start to fold here, because this is your straddle press all the way up, right? So if you're starting, down the road with standing forward fold and you lift up through straddle, you're going to pass through all of these stretched positions. So it's helpful to just kind of take a little peek at them. Come up and open up a little bit wider, fold once more. Come on up, go a little bit wider. Go belly button, chest, and chin. And since this is in the direction of inversions, I like to keep my chin on the floor because I look down at the floor when I am inverting. And then we're gonna just flip the hips now to middle splits or frog pose. I'm gonna end up there, but if you've got the middle splits, pass through that too. And then we'll kind of wriggle the feet behind us for frog for a couple breaths. And shimmy your way back. And take a little moment. All right, put yourself together again. Cool. Moving on. All right, let's do a shoulder audition. So I got this from Lauren Nottingham of the Yoga Dojo. I'll never forget this. We start elbows right in front of the shoulders, not out, right in front. We've got parallel forearms. We're going to see how it feels to try to take the arms overhead. I'm going to show you sideways something real quick. So my shoulders are a little bit forward. Rather than squeezing them back, that's not good. We're going to protract, pushing them forward so we're kind of rounded in the back. So with this box, I'm going to try to lift this overhead without disturbing the angle of the forearms. I cannot get my arms all the way overhead like that. That doesn't work so well for me. So next I'm going to offer crossing of the thumbs, maybe pointer fingers touching, still keeping elbows right in front of the shoulders. Maybe you can take this a little bit higher overhead. That's a little bit better for me. We can pray, take hands together, but keep the elbows right in front of the shoulders. Take this up and overhead and come on back down. Cool. Now lace your fingers together and say, no, I'm never going to do that. The reason I do that is because I've seen people kind of roll over their fingers and they just get crunched and it's just not cute, and I don't wish that on anybody. Let's try the railroad tracks again. So from the side, chest in, shoulders rounded, and then try to take those parallel forearms overhead. It just doesn't work for me. So now I'm going to do the little thumbs crossing. Elbows in. Stay strong. Try to raise the arms. Checking myself out in the mirror there. And it's a lot of work. Last one, we'll pray. Put the hands together. Elbows in. Pray. And slide, slide, slide without disturbing the ribs. Not so bad. And come on forward. Whew. So you got to find one that works for you. And now we'll pick it up. We'll put it down and we'll pick it up. Dolphin pose. So dolphin is essentially downward facing dog on your forearms. So we'll try the first one. Forearms parallel to each other. And then see how your legs feel. Do you want feet mats width distance? Head is not on the ground. It is off the floor. You can start by looking back at your feet like down dog. Maybe you're walking forward a little bit. And then once you get up, try looking down at the ground also between your forearms. That's where we'll be when we go upside down. Okay, now we're going to do the second one. Thumbs crossed. Lift the hips up. Head off the floor, look back for your feet like down dog. Push away. Yeah, ribs in, good fix. And then try on also looking down at the ground. Okay. Now let's pray. I find I can get a little bit more height from the shoulders here. Push away, head off the floor. Give it a try looking down between the hands. And keep pushing away from the floor, as far away as possible. That's the elevation of the shoulders. Nice. Here's one more thing that I've learned that's kind of silly. We've got like wiggly arm fat on our forearms. So we can do this thing that kind of breaks it there. So I'm going to start with my arms a little bit closer than normal. Like slide the fat out and then break the hands down. So that sounds weird. Just try it again. Forearms a little bit more in toward each other, slide out, and then flip the hands down, and then you're kind of like locked and loaded in place. Remember to never lace your fingers together. All right, cool. Moving on. All right, so now we're going to look at Sunsal A with some forearm stuff. This is a lot of fun. We'll go slowly first. Inhale, look all the way up, tall mountain. Exhale, she forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Now, she will look forward, drop her forearms down to dolphin, and then she'll lift up through high plank, right into chaturanga. Boom. Inhale, up dog. Downward facing dog. So here's the problem I see some people do, and it doesn't make sense to me. They come to dolphin, and then they come forward, but they don't move their elbows off the floor, and they're like, chaturanga, right? And it's like, no, it's chaturanga. There's no trick here. Chaturanga is one shape. That's exactly what we're going for. So let's look at it again. She looks forward, comes to her forearms, dolphin. Now she passes up through plank, bends the arms again, chaturanga, to upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Feet to the top of the mat, halfway lift, forward fold. Here she goes, rise all the way up. Empty out, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, we'll go slow. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the eyes forward. Exhale, elbows down. Inhale, up through plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Breathe in, up dog. Breathe out, down dog. Look forward and top of the mat. Lengthen and fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Chaturanga. Breathe in, up dog. Down dog, a little faster. Inhale to drop the elbows. Up, exhale, chaturanga. Breathe in, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, let it go. Look forward, feet to the top, halfway lift, bow, rise all the way up, and stand. So that's a fun way to kind of spruce up a sun salutation. Moving on. And we're back. Let's look at probably the first or easiest way to go up into a forearm balance. It's not the best way to learn, but it's probably the first way you ever tried it, or it's the easiest way to do it. And that's to come up to the forearms, lift one leg high, and we do what's called a double stag. So the legs are split and they're kind of bent, and this way I can counterbalance one way or the other if I'm falling, maybe back a bit or forward a bit. You see my back is wobbly, my shoulders are kind of like, whoa. So yes, maybe we can get up, but it's not the best way because we always want to have that straight line, super solid, before we kind of mess up any alignment. So that's my advice to you. Let's move on. And now let's talk about falling. So because inevitably going to happen. Now when we're in a handstand, we kind of get the luxury of being able to cartwheel out of it. We can move our hands from the floor, right? So if I fall forward, I can take a little step and come down. But when we're on our forearms, we don't really have that luxury. We're kind of stuck to the floor. So I'm going to show you this. I don't want to see it though. Cartwheeling out of a forearm stand, you have the opportunity to kind of crank your shoulders and twist them, and shoulders popping out, and we don't want that. So here are two ways that you can fall out that might seem scary, but they're kind of fun. The first one, this is the reason why we don't lace our knuckles together, because we're going to roll. So it's pretty fun. I'm going to make sure I have mat space in front of me. Palms are flat. I go up overhead. Oh no, I tuck my chin and I roll. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm okay. I'm gonna do it one more time. Go up, tuck the chin, roll on out. Hey, that can work. This other way is also not one I would recommend. It's because it visits an arched back. It's up and over and you land on your feet. And then you just kind of abort once you get down there. Let's try it one more time. She goes up, and then I know she falls, and then just falls to the feet, and then just falls, makes her way out of it. Now, I don't recommend that because then you're always going to get into the habit of kicking up and always arching over. So you're always going to give yourself too much juice to know that you have a way to fall. So how about just don't fall? Moving on. All right, let's get up. One leg straight up, one knee into the chest. So we've got a straight line and a tucked leg. If the tucked leg comes away from the chest, we're going to find an arch in the back, which we don't want. So pick whichever hand situation was working for you earlier. I'm going to keep my right leg on the floor. Look forward. Keep the eyes forward. Ribs in. Push away. Left leg up. Come to the ball of the foot. Slowly float the foot up, knee into the chest. So if I lose the knee, I risk arching. Keep pulling the knee down into the chest, and hopefully we've got that straight line up overhead. Always return down the same way that you got up. I'm going to switch profiles, same leg. This time I'm going to take it all the way up. So the right leg is down. The left leg rises, come high on the ball of the foot, keep the eyes down. Slowly bend the knee into the chest, and then I'm going to try to go match that line up top. Boop, 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 boop. A forearm stand with the straight legs together overhead is probably the most difficult balance. Slowly lower down. More difficult than a handstand or a headstand, in my opinion. Now we're going to do the other side. So the left leg is down. So now you see why opening up hips and hamstrings is important. Because the higher I get my leg, the more I'm already stacked, right? The hips were right over the shoulders already. All I had to do was just pick my leg up off the floor. Keep hugging the knee in and come down the same way you got up. I'm going to flip profiles and take it all the way up. Oh, that was very fancy, Marge. All the way up this time. So, forearms down, lift up, eyes right between. Right leg rises, lift the heel, shift the shoulders forward, and there I am. Hug the knee into the ribs. And then slowly, without disturbing the top leg, I try to go up to meet it. And rewind the same way I got into it. Okay, cool. Moving on. All right, we're back. Let's talk about side press, also known as a puppy press. One of my favorite ways. Now, we have to look at what's going on with the legs first. Straddle. So let's talk about anatomical terms. The hip is flexed because the leg comes forward. So it's flexed and abducted, abducted, going away from the body. So when I sit, my legs are now flexed forward and now they're abducted out to the side. So in order to get comfortable puppy pressing, I have to be comfortable doing this. Ticking and talking. Complete lateral flexion side to side. And then pause over on one side and look, this is it. This is your side press. Come back up through center, try the other side. This is also your side press. Come back up. Okay? So now we're going to look at this higher. So remember, now my feet are forward, so that's flexed hips, and now I'm going to take them out. So I'm in a standing straddle. The legs have to go side to side. I'm trying to show you this way. Foot up and up, like I'm just kicking on the wall. It's called a puppy press because you're peeing, right? Like this looks like a dog peeing on the fire hydrant. I'm going to show you sideways again in a handstand. So the leg going back behind you is not what we want, because the leg going behind you is extension of the hip, and we're working with flexion of the hip, and we don't want to change that. So let's look at this just in a handstand real quick. So here's straddle. And then from there, I just shift and I lift back up. I'll go the same way I came down. We don't want to toss the leg behind us. We've lost our straddle. Yeah? And then we could fall all over the place and that's no good. So let's look at this in forearms. So the hips flexed and abducted. I'm in a straddle. I'm going to kick to the wall and change to the other side. P with my right leg, change to the other side. P with my left leg, and P with my right leg. Good. And then maybe, just maybe, I can pop off the foot. So lean, little pop, put it down, and. Nice. Try that again. And then maybe this time get a little stuck. Change to the other side, and then this is where your TikToks come in. Notice my legs are never going behind me. They're staying in this straddle the whole time. Flexed hip, abducted. And once you kind of get that, maybe the click happens. Cool? Moving on. Hello again. Now let's talk about the full straddle press, both legs together rather than one at a time. We kind of get to a straddle place and sometimes it's like, oh, I'm trying so hard and my legs are quaking and shaking, and we just forget that we got to move our legs as well, all the way up and overhead. So we're going to look at it first by falling into it. Whoa, I'm just like, oops, I'm falling to a straddle press. Jumping is what we're not going to do. So I reach forward a little bit. I'm in my straddle already. And as my forearms went down, my heels lifted up at the same time. Didn't ask too much. I'm not trying to catch a balance or anything. Here she goes again. Fall and. Alrighty, and then reverses. Working the negative too, that's important. Then we go bit by bit. Slowing it down. So she goes to forearms. She lifts the heels. Remember, ribs in, right? Eyes down. Lift the heels, lean forward, and then point the feet, flick them off the floor, and maybe you find the straddle. Here she goes again. Lean forward, lift the heels, both legs at the same time. Good. And last time. Shoo. She'll take it all the way up this time. Working the descent now in the same way, so important because this is where you start to learn the negatives. Slowly straddle down, fight, 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 and land it. Nice job. Whew. Okay, let's move on. And we're back. Let's talk about gaze shifting. So once I'm comfortable in a straight line, I'm going to try to work for looking up at my toes. Now what you're going to see is a straight line shifts ever so slightly. I'm going to go up in my normal way by jumping up. There's the knee into the chest, two legs all the way up overhead. I like to go slow. Drop the ears between the shoulders and look up for the feet. And then you'll notice my line is like the Leaning Tower of Pisa a little bit. It's just a different balancing point. And then try to rewind, eyes back down, and come back down the same way you got in, whatever that was. Something fun to play around with. Whew, not the easiest. Cool. Well, let's move on. And we're back. This time we're going to do gaze shift and make some shapes with our legs. We're going to go from a straddle, stick the butt way out, that's the secret, to a pike, to a single leg bent. In gymnastics, we call that a wolf. So I'm going to straddle press up into this one and just hang out in the straddle. So I lean forward, click. Now, I'm going to stick my butt out a lot as I try to take my eyes up to the ceiling. And then bit by bit, once I find my balance, work to bring the legs together to a pike, bending one knee, also known as a 7 in circus language. See it? Number 7 right there. And rewind the same way you got up. Whew. It's been a while since I've done that. Cool. Let's move on. All right, let's talk about funky. It's one hand and a forearm down, and certain arm balances, if you call them funky. So what we don't want to do for funky balances is have two hands in one line and drop a forearm. What we want to do is have the elbow in line with a hand. So the hand in line with an elbow, yeah? All right, let's look at this profile. She goes. Steps the right hand forward and drops the elbow down. So now the left hand is in line with the right elbow, yeah? Whichever elbow's on the floor, that's the leg you're going to keep down. So this is right elbow down, right leg down, left leg up. And I'm just going to flick my bottom foot off the floor a couple of times and see if I can just get a little bit of air. Ooh, change. Left elbow down, right hand down. So the left foot on the floor, right leg up. little tiny hiccups off the floor. Cool. Let's see if we can puppy press into it. Who knows? So she goes. Right forearm down, left hand in line with the forearm. So this is going to be the right leg down. Find your straddle. P with the left leg, and then pop the right foot off the floor and rewind. This is a little obviously more challenging. This is kind of in the direction of a one-armed balance because the forearm that's down has more weight. So see how that goes. Whew. Something else we can look at is the evolution of Ekapada Bakasana, which is one-legged crow. Elbow to knee and the other leg straight up. So you have to be comfortable with having your head on the floor to try this first one. The hand that's down, that's going to be my right hand. It's going to be the knee that comes onto the tricep. Put the head on the floor, lift the hips, right knee attaches to the back of the arm, left foot off the floor, and maybe up into the sky. And slowly rewind your way back down. Change. Head down, left knee in, right leg up, and rewind. Cool. Now let's try it without our head on the floor. Left forearm down, right hand down, lift the hips up. There's the knee to elbow, maybe a little float, maybe it goes all the way up, head is off the floor, and whoo, try the other side. Left hand down, left knee in, little tiny lift, maybe all the way up, and just enough to taste it. Let's move on. All right, funky side crow. This is another fun one. Now we're going to drop an elbow in side crow. It's pretty cool. This time we do keep the hands exactly where they are, and then we don't move the hand forward. This time we're going to do just the opposite of what I said before. We're going to keep the hands glued down and drop one elbow. So what's going to happen is my body is going to rotate a quarter of the way around. So what might that look like? My hands are toward you. Okay, prerequisite, we got to be comfortable with side crow. Having that right elbow free. And we're going to karate chop to the camera by dropping the right forearm, the top leg karate chops, and then I try to pull myself back to side crow. My hands have not left the floor at all. Let's try the other side. Dropping the left elbow down. So I got to be comfortable with having that elbow free, right? And drop it down, karate chop, and then pull with the hand to come on back. That's a tricky one. Let's get out of here. All right, speaking of crows, let's look at baby crow. This is crow with your forearms on the floor. It doesn't look that impressive. It's not really even that fun to do. It's kind of degrading, actually. Just face down, ass up, right? Look forward, knees into your triceps. Doesn't look impressive at all. Who cares? But it's something to work with if you're working descending down from a forearm balance. You can also go up this way. I certainly can't. So something to be aware of. I'm straddling up. Something to be aware of when we're trying to find a slow descension into a shape. I'm not just going to fall and hope for the best. What I want to do is find the tiny shape first and then try to find the descent rather than kind of smushing it all together and doing it all at once. So she goes up. Once she sticks it, I'm going to pull the knees into the heart first so I get my tiny shape first, and then I look more forward, shoulders more forward, try to land it, sneak a little toe cheat in, and I still can't do it. Move on. All right, let's look at going from headstand to forearm stand. This one's a little wishy-washy in the body. I'm going to try to do it with straight legs. Obviously, you have to be comfortable with headstand before you try this one. So I'm going to do classical headstand, unbound, so my hands are flat on the floor. I'm going to try to keep a straight line and then engage in the shoulders, lift up, and then change the eyes down to the floor. A little bit of misalignment here, but you get the idea. She'll put the head down and pike her way back down. Whew. So another easier way to do this, like we've already said, if you can remember back to the beginning, is double stag legs. You can start with double stag and then push up out, and then you can use your legs to kind of help counterbalance looking forward. Put the head back down and come out the same way. So, I mean, it's easier, but it's not super good. Whatever, let's move on. All right, drum roll. Last one. Forearms to chaturanga. All right, thank you, Carson Clay Calhoun, for this one. There's a little baby scorpion action and then a snap into it. You just gotta try it. Okay, so she goes up into her forearm stand. There's a little bit of get some momentum, little arch, and then flick, land on the hands. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. We're going to try it again. So Carson once challenged me to make it clap. So in midair, clapping from forearm stand to chaturanga. I got very fancy with my iMovie skills here and I did slow-mo. So pay attention. She's up. She's going to come to a little bit of a back bend and clap. And inhale, upward dog. Take it back, downward facing dog. And you know what? Just make a clap here too. That's the best part. Whew. All right, nice job, you guys. Take a breath. Take care of your shoulders. Take care of your neck. I hope you enjoyed this crash course in forearm stand. Let me know which ones worked for you, and there she goes. If you have any new shapes that you found from here or any of these press drills kind of help get you up, let me know. I'd love to see it. Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.